Good. Cardboard Turtle definitely did spam Among Us cock at like 4:30. Honey, 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 honey. That's you know how expensive that monitor is? I already stepped on that and broke it. I didn't step on it, sorry. It got broken during shipping according to Amazon. So I can't have it break again or else they maybe will start getting suspicious. Okay, so I was driving home from work and I stopped to get gas and then there was a guy that like sputtered into the gas station. And I was like, okay, this guy's having trouble, and then he couldn't get his car to start. And so I walked up to him. I'm like, do you want to get jumped? Which I don't know. He was not a native English speaker. This was I don't know what he was. He spoke like he was Hispanic, but he looked Middle Eastern. So I don't know. He was something. I don't even know what the fuck he was. Maybe like some weird island place that speaks like it's Hispanic or something, like Latin. I really don't know. I couldn't even tell. But regardless, definitely not a native English speaker. So I went up to him like, hey, do you need to get jumped? Which jump? Okay, so that's good. So I said, hey, do you need to get jumped? He was like, no. My car, I have trouble with car no start. Please no car. No. And I'm like, did he hear me right? Because there was bad traffic. So I walked up closer to him and I was like, I can jump you. I've got it in my trunk. And he was like, no, please no. And then he rolled up his fucking window. And I was like, what is wrong with this guy? And I didn't, okay, so I don't know how common this is, but in where I'm at, we just call jumping your car is just when you take jumper cables and you just start the fucking car. I was like, oh, I've got jumper cables on me. And I can jump you. And that's not what maybe that means. Maybe he knows jumped as in like I'm gonna beat the shit out of him. And I'm like, I wasn't going up to him like, yo, I would know, nice guy. I'm gonna fuck you up. Like I wasn't doing that. I was walking up like, hey man, you need some help? Like I don't feel like I'm a very threatening person at all. But he was terrified. I felt bad because he needed jumped. So I thought about like maybe holding up the jumper cables, but I'm like, I'm not gonna dig myself a deeper hole. What if he doesn't know what jumper cables are and thinks I'm gonna fucking torture him or something? Why does Yakuza fucking make me drop frames, cunt? Why did my Windows just crash? Windows, come back. Honey, don't jump on the monitor. Fuck, everything is going to shit. Oh no, it's so fucking lag. Is it still laggy as shit? Oh Jesus. I'm a Roblox streamer. I want to die. I don't know why. Today I was just at work and I'm like, what if every time I had to fart, I take out my phone and record the fart and just put it in a compilation? I swear to God I had that thought today. I don't know why. I immediately was like, that's not even funny. And then I moved on with my life, but you guys just reminded me of that. Nah, it's just, I don't know, man. People, it's the Linux. Like, trust me, I like Linux a lot. I love Linux, but a big reason I was using Linux and that justified Linux is I'm like, one day I think there's a good chance people will realize that Linux is better than Windows. And the thing that killed that for me, personally, is that the number one thing stopping Linux from doing well is the people on Linux. The people developing Linux are wonderful people that have better things to do with their time, but my experience trying to talk to people that use Linux or like trying to get help for things with Linux has been absolutely miserable. I never used Linux as like a flex, and that was among like quite a few reasons. That was a big problem. Was that a lot of the people that use Linux like to shit talk people who aren't on Linux or who are on Linux and maybe don't have the same level of proficiency they have. Towards the tail end of me being on Linux, where I was using it as my daily driver and fucking around with it quite a bit, just learning a lot about it, like I really didn't have to ask people questions like the documentation that program has, or like the wiki or whatever, or like knowing to use my own resources were good enough, and I didn't really have to ask people questions almost at all. But towards the beginning, people were fucking cunts, and then towards the end, people were cunts, but it was people like in my DMs bitching about like what I think about Linux, because I have certain opinions. I'm not crazy about Richard Stallman. I like Pop! OS. I like Debian. I think System D's fine. Like, I have a lot of these opinions that just people want to rip my throat out for, and I don't fucking care. There are the engineers and the politicians. The engineers on Linux are too busy with their fucking time to actually talk or whatever, or be in my fucking Discord DMs. But the fucking politicians, These people who are on Linux for some sort of moral righteousness are the people who do talk to me, and it made me want to blow my fucking brains out, man. I just like the way Linux makes my computer go burr. And just with those things, I'm like, fuck it. Why am I even on this anymore? Like, I have no hope whatsoever that it's ever going to be the majority market share. Like, it's awesome. I like Linux, but I am only harming my ability to do the things day to day for some pipe dream that I gave up on. Those people use Arch. Unironically, most of them, yeah, they used Arch. They use like Arch or Manjaro. It's like, dude, congratulations, you followed a 20-minute YouTube video and you installed something using only text. Look at you go, smart boy. Like, it's, I don't know. I just, it got really annoying towards the end, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Right? I like the way my computer works, but a big reason I liked Linux was I liked talking about it. And I realized that this is a big thing, is that I like talking about Linux too. I'm not saying I'm above talking about shit like that, or like I have better things to do with my time either. Like, a lot of my time is spent on YouTube or streaming, talking about stuff. And I liked talking about Linux and like what I did on Linux and all that noise. And then the problem came where I was trying to teach other people about Linux, and then there would be so many people jumping on my throat. I never got anyone who's like, oh, thanks for helping out this random guy for Linux. I got certain people in my DMs like, dude, you're so retarded. Why would you teach him to use a Linux without primarily using the terminal? Like, people who use Linux need to use the terminal. And I just try to explain, like, oh, that's overwhelming for, this is just an example, like, oh, that's overwhelming for new people. When I was new to Linux, I just didn't really want to bother with it. I just wanted to kind of experiment with other stuff first, and then it's just people like, oh, we're not interested in attracting normies, is what I got told so many times. Like, fuck me, dude. I didn't use Linux to constantly argue with people, and that's what it became. It was just a constant argument with so many people. Yeah, I love Linux. Like, Linux uninstalling Linux was almost the same mental fortitude as like breaking up with a girlfriend. These are the combos I loved, where you're just talking about like how to do something. But like, for example, whenever we talked about how to run that program, was it WM control? Whatever the program was that you'd run like a script and it'd resize windows and place them. And I think you had a video about that. I hope I'm thinking of the right fucking person. Like, combos like that, I'm totally good with. I love shit like that. That's so much fun for me. That's cool. But there are people that, I'm not going to give names. There's only one in particular that was really in my fucking DMs about it, where it's like, dude, I don't give a shit. Like, I literally tell him, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care if Stallman just dies. Like, I don't care, man. I just got other shit in my life I care way more about. Yeah, it's not a religion. It's not. The thing about Linux, though, I didn't treat it as a religion, but I genuinely love Linux. It's just fun. It's so hard to explain to people. I'm not using Linux for some sort of... Towards the end, I was like, I pretty much gave up on like, okay, Linux is for everyone kind of meme. I gave up on that, and I was just mostly on Linux just because I enjoy my day-to-day life more on Linux than on Windows. And that shifted when I had to start dealing with the repercussions of constantly arguing about it. It's just the way if I want to do something on Linux, especially if I don't have to do some weird MacGyver shit because it's only supposed to happen on Windows, if something is designed for Linux, I love it way more. It's just the way Linux functions. I'm happier. Windows just works. So does Linux. Pop! OS just works. I don't know. But you can do more complicated stuff because you actually own your computer. I hate being on Windows and being in this box. Like, for example, you have to like choose between windows, right? There's like 3 types of Windows. There's I don't want to constantly update, so I'm just gonna like still be on Windows 7 or something. Or I'm going to be on Windows 10, turn off updates, and it's just everything's going to keep breaking. You're the person on Windows 10 who updates every single fucking day, and you're like, okay, I'll keep up with it. I just hope my computer will work for me. I don't want to put the work into my computer working, or like... And then there's the Windows 10 I run, which is like a debloated Windows 10. But the problem is that on this debloated Windows 10, I can only ever run this debloated Windows 10. Like on Linux, I could almost run my own Linux, because I owned my fucking computer. So if I wanted something to change, I would do it. Let's say, for example, on this debloat script, you have to turn off Windows Security Update. There's something on Windows you have to turn off, and it breaks like 10 things. Like, you'll break your fucking notification center, you'll break all updates unless you manually select them. Like, you break your Microsoft Store, it's just a whole bunch of stuff just breaks because you turn off the ability to automatically update security updates. And I don't like that, because, like, for example, on Linux, if I wanted to do something like not have automatic updates, then I just turn it off, and I'm not just in this weird version. Like, for me, it's just, I need my storage space pretty bad, and I don't have any interest in dual booting. Like, I want to have all my things on one thing.